What's going on, everybody, and welcome back. So I'm home from work and I've been meaning to do some work on the truck. I got a wheel speed sensor that's acting up and just trying to stay busy, get things done. I think I might try to attack that tonight. It's the right front. I already verified it with the scan tool at work. But basically what you do is you gotta go, I have a Tech 2 at work since we're a GM dealer, and so you go in there and you look at the data on the scan tool, and you'll go in and you'll look at the wheel speeds. And so on this one, there's only one sensor in the rear. On most newer GM vehicles, they've got two sensors in the rear and two in the front. So you'll watch all the wheel speeds, and you want to just do a nice easy stop when you feel the ABS activation. That's kind of what the issue is when you're coming to a stop, and right around under 10 miles an hour is when you feel it. It's usually right around 5 miles an hour that your pedal will go and it feels like you're skidding on ice. It's an ABS stop. It doesn't allow you to come to a stop because the pedal kind of gets a little weird, and the ABS motor is activating, and it's definitely a bit odd feeling, and you're like, what happened? And some people, most people know what ABS feels like, so they come in, they say, my ABS is activating. So what you do is watch the data on the scan tool, and you watch until the data, one of the sensors is going to drop down to whatever the sensor will read to. So these sensors read till 3 miles an hour on this vehicle. So 3 is the lowest it'll read. So one of the sensors, everything's at 5 or 4, and then one of the sensors will drop to 3, and then you get the little activation because it thinks that wheel has completely stopped. So it thinks that wheel stopped and you're skidding on ice, but in reality the sensor's just taking a crapper. So it reads fine, but at the bottom when you're going really slow, that's when they have a problem. So you have a couple of things. It could be a bad wheel bearing, so you kind of want to feel the play in the bearing. So jack it up. If you don't have any play in the bearing, probably a sensor. Could possibly be a damaged reluctor, but you're not going to know that until you take the sensor out and look in there and see if the reluctor is existing. I'm sure that it's usually not the reluctor unless something got in there and damaged it or it blew apart. A lot of vehicles have like a magnet on the back that there's a little sensor that reads the magnetic reluctor. Those can get broken. Those break, and when they get all broken and split, then you'll get issues like this. But anyway, that's a lot of talking. I could talk all day, but I'm just going to get to work. I'm going to turn the truck around, get it jacked up, pull the wheel. I'll show you guys what we got to do. Wow, my ABS light's on? No way. Guys, my ABS light hasn't been on this entire time. That is crazy. The whole time I've had this problem, the ABS light was never on. And now it's on that I go to show you guys. That is cool. Wow. So this is one of those things where you get the ABS activation, but I got no light. And I was like, why don't I have a light? It's just very odd to me. Because you assume that the vehicle would know after 47 ABS stops in a row that it's not a real ABS stop. Anyway, I don't want to block my father in here, so we're gonna turn it around in the road. And I should have brought the scan tool to show you guys what it does. Right now the vacuum pump's coming on. That's just because of the cam, and it's not making a vacuum when you first start it, so it acts like low vacuum, so it turns the vacuum pump on like a bunch of times. But that's just a whole different ball game here. So let's see. Alrighty, let's get back in here. Alright guys, I lied. We're not working on the truck. It's actually the following day. I ended up not working on the truck last night, and I ended up doing some other stuff instead. More pressing things. like, you know, home-related things. Trying to get pre-approved. Anyway, my bad, guys. Naomi called me. Yeah, I'm on my way to fix the Hummer. So, we got to do a little hydraulic crimping. And, shouldn't be that bad. I hope it shouldn't be that bad. Oh, man. Hill starts for days. Ay, what a bad place to live. Anyway. Figure I'll let you guys hear what it's like to drive this thing up a hill. With all the windows down, of course. Hopefully the windows isn't too bad. I see the dead cam moving a little bit, but it shouldn't be too bad. I think it's better when it's like this than when it's solid mounted to this seat, because like the vibrations translate and stuff. But yeah, got about a 50-minute drive, and we will be at Naomi's. Check out the Hummer once again. I'll show you guys my hydraulic crimp, and move on from there. Hopefully the part for Nani's car will show up tomorrow or today or something. It was in Springfield, so it should be close. So anyway, yeah, that's about it. Maybe I'll give you guys some clips on the highway or something. And yeah, that's that. There's a sweet MR2 up here. Let's see if it's a grandma. So, I think it's grandma. They're not chasing me. Oh well. Oh, I hear sirens now. They're coming for me, guys. They're getting me. Oh, it's an ambulance. Never mind. Gotta love the noises. People must wonder what is going on when I rip by somebody on the highway and it does all the. They must be really confused because no cars make that noise. I know like some Subarus have that noise, but you know this blow-off valve on here is amazing. It's a knockoff HKS too. It's like an eBay one, and it is just awesome. It always blows off. More often than it should, probably. Anytime I let off the gas, it makes a noise, whether it's like a or the full-on, you know, blow-off flutter. It sounds fucking sweet. Oh, I just swore. I don't normally do that. Well, oh well. Hopefully I don't get demonetized. Oh, that guy got a flat. That sucks. I've never even seen those wheels. Those must be a weird custom GM wheel there. That's a bummer. But yeah, we're headed through Middletown. Almost there. I'm gonna live somewhere around here soon, maybe. I don't know about that. We'll see. We will see. We're looking in this area, but I've been following this guy in this S10. Guy was cruising, going like 90 miles an hour. I'm not saying I was doing that fast too, but you know, yeah, crazy guy here. I don't know. Probably got the 2.2 in there, naturally aspirated. With a 4L60. What a funny combination, these old S10s. I always wanted one. I'd love to do like a 6-liter swap and then turbo with like a 4L80 behind it in an S10. That would be fun. That would be fast. You know, because you can turbo like an Avalanche all day. To make it fast, man, you got to put a lot of work in there. It's a really heavy truck. But something like that is so light. You know, I think when I do another LS build, it'll be fun to do a truck like that. And I think maybe I should do a sleeper, because I haven't actually done a real sleeper. What are your guys' thoughts on sleepers? Because I obviously don't consider this a sleeper because I did up all the paintwork and everything. But I mean, somebody at the car show was talking about like, oh, I see what you did. Like, it's kind of sleeper, but kind of not. But like, you know, this and that. Like, and I get what he's saying. That is kind of what I was going for. Like, I didn't want it to be obvious that it's like a race car. I wanted it to look like a street car. And it does look like a... Oh, my bad. I'm not aiming the camera at myself. Yeah, it does look like a street car, I think. But at the same time, you know, it is a street car. I don't know. I wanted it to be clean. That was my thing, is clean. I don't like stickers and gaudy stuff. It's just not really my taste. So I shaved the trunk keyhole and all kinds of things like that just because I like stuff clean. And he noticed. He was like, yeah, I like what you did with this, and oh, and the side skirts, and he was just loving it. This is a guy at Honda Fest. And it was cool to hear somebody was like analyzing my style that I put into the car. Because, you know, whether you know it or not, like, there's style that goes into designing and building a car when you do it like this. So it was cool to have somebody say something like that. But yeah, as far as the whole sleeper thing, I'd love to do one. I don't like being seen in a broke looking old, I mean, no offense to, I know a lot of people rock these old Hondas and they like have no shame, but like, I started out liking cars, making them look good. Like, that's what I did with my truck. I made it look good first before anything. Yeah, exhaust, intake and stuff, but nothing beyond that, you know? And this is my first taste of performance, like I said. So, you know, to be in the performance realm, I had to make it look good too. Once I made it fast and it looked like it did, like no paint and all that stuff, I was like, oh, it looks terrible. But it was a sleeper, and that was cool. But of course, didn't leave it. I couldn't leave it alone. But I really think the next Honda or the next whatever I do, I'm gonna leave sleeper, because painting this thing was so hard. And I may do it again someday, but I don't know if I'm gonna ever go through that much work again to paint a Honda. Because like, not that Hondas aren't worth it, but man, at the end of the day, you wish you could like sell it for something. It's still a 96 Honda, right? So I feel like I wouldn't get anything for this car, you know? I don't know, comment below, guys. What do you think the car's worth, you know? What do you got? What would, if you had the money and you wanted to like give me a fair price, what do you think it's worth? Knowing that I have like, I mean, under but probably close to $10,000 in this thing, you know, which is not that much money for a car build, but it's kind of a lot of money for a 96 Honda. So you're not going to get that back as far as I see. I don't know. If somebody gave me $5 grand for it, I'd be like, wow. That's just, I don't see it as being very valuable, because like, I don't know, it's still maybe it's just being a mechanic that I'm like, all cars are pieces of junk, you know, I don't know, it's rubbing off on me. That's what happens when you work on cars. But like, it's super reliable, you know, knock on whatever, plastic, knock on my steering wheel, hopefully no problems, but I haven't had any issues. It's been so good to me. Granted, I did rebuild the entire car. I had issues while rebuilding, but I haven't really broken down or anything, other than that one time where I blew a fuse that I ran from the starter all the way to the battery, because I had too small of a fuse in there, and I blew the fuse, and then the car wouldn't start, and I couldn't figure it out. But I was pop starting it to get to it from work and stuff, so it was not even a big deal. But here he goes again. But anyway, yeah, so basically what I'm saying is I'd like to do a sleeper because I like the concept, but I don't like being in the sleeper, you know, and that's what's gonna hurt me. I want to get like a daily driver, but I'm not all about like driving a broke looking car, so I might actually try to make it look nice, which is like on a daily. Why? I'm not talking about like wheels and everything, but like I just want it clean, like clean paint work. I don't want it to be smashed. I can fix it, so to me it's like, why am I driving something that looks busted, you know? And it's like the Avalanche is like rotting out. It's like, can I fix it? Yes. Is it worth it? No, because the rest of it's rotting out too. So if I'm not gonna fix all of it, why fix any of it? That's my rationale with that. I don't know. It's a slippery slope when you start trying to fix rust and stuff, because, you know, you you'll be there all day. Like the rust on the doors on this car, I fixed it, and it's back. It's bubbling the bottoms of the doors on the inside. It's only a matter of time before it makes its way to the other side, and it starts going under the paint, and the doors start rotting off. And it's like, oh, what am I gonna do? You know? I guess I can fix it. I don't know. Maybe I'll get new doors from the junkyard or something. Seems like, I don't know, a lot of work. So, who knows? We'll cross that bridge when we get there. I don't really want to sell the car though. Maybe I'll just let it rot. I don't know. What do you guys think? Just keep fixing it? It's so much work. Maybe just at this time in my life I don't have time. But maybe in the future I will. You know, we'll restore it the right way and put some nice doors on it. Not just like haphazardly repair it like I did. So guys, good news. I couldn't wait, but I did fix the car. So, get in. I'll show you guys. I'll fire this thing up. Oh, oh, keys. Keys. I need the keys. And that power steering light goes out, and we have power steering once again, guys. So this is a module with 136,000 on it. Hopefully it doesn't fail. If this one fails again, then I guess we know what we're after. But I'm hoping this is a good one since it made it to 136, and this one only had like 90K on this module, so we must have had a bad one. Now in this model, it's not over here, it is under here. So it's just 310 mils. I just gotta, you know, figure out the orientation. I'm gonna unplug that one now, take the old one out and put this one in, and then plug that thing in. No programming required, it seems like. Everything's fine, which is really nice to know. But otherwise, yeah, the, what do you call it, this vehicle, this is a 2012, but it is an EXL. So an EXL is the only model that has electric power steering. Everything else has hydraulic. So it's kind of a rare thing here to see, is the electric power steering. So maybe this particular module and this failure, you don't see that often. I did see one case on Identifix with a Acura something. I don't know if it was a MDX or some kind of Acura that had this electric power steering, and it had that same code, and they changed the module and it fixed it. So this code is like an internal fault within the module, is what it seems like. It can't read the battery current or the amount of current that the steering is pulling. It has an internal part that senses the current flow, and that part failed. So it couldn't tell what the current flow was, is what it sounds like to me with the code. So internally it failed, and you just got to swap out the module. So yeah, junkyard part, saved ourselves a ton of money. Unfortunately, we spent a ton of money on a rental car this whole time because she wanted to get around, but it is what it is, guys. You know, she would have spent $800 with this thing at the Honda dealership at least. I know she spent $800 total with the rental car in this, so I guess it doesn't matter. I kind of flopped on this. My initial idea was to do this, and then I doubted myself. But I should have did this in the first place, because you got to go with your gut, you know, especially when you're working on off brands and stuff. So what you throw a part at it, as long as you're not throwing a huge expensive part or something, like, you know, it is what it is, guys. Sometimes you got to just do the parts game, you know, and just be like, all right, we'll try this, because you just don't know where to go. You know, you don't have the schematics, you don't have this, you don't have that, you don't have the time, and you got to throw a part. So that's my thing of the day, is sometimes you got to throw a part at something. And we did, and we guessed well. I'm a good guesser. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna button it up, put it all back together, and we'll be good to go. She's very happy that her car's fixed, and I'm happy too. We'll get it out of this driveway. I'll probably clean it up for her and all that good stuff. So anyway, yeah, we're gonna see if we can knock out 2 problems in one night. That'll be a new record. Anyway, I'm gonna try to change the wheel speed sensor on this thing. Hopefully it fixes it. I'll show you guys my process. Kind of a cluster in the driveway right now, to be honest. Thinking once Nani leaves with that car, I can move my car. I'll have to move my dad's truck and then my car. There's not enough room here. The bus has got to go, guys. I got to work on that trans. I've been thinking about it. Try to bring home the holding fixture tomorrow. Start working on the transmission. It's been so long. That bus hasn't ran, oh my god, over a year. I'm gonna have to pull the fuel tank down, take all that fuel out. I just made so much more work for myself just because I waited this long. Ugh. I hope it runs good. I don't know how many issues because it sat, you know? That's really crappy. I should disconnect the fuel line and like get all that old gas out of there. It's gonna be nasty. Ugh, I'm so dumb. Anyway, I'm gonna get to work. So, I don't know how many days later it is since last time I filmed on this thing, but whatever. We got a little further, so I got it out. It actually broke on me, guys. So when I was taking this one out, it blew the sensor apart, and there's a little coil in there that reads it, and you can see it in there. It's rolling away on me. It looks like it might actually be, I don't know. I think that's probably how it's supposed to be. But yeah, regardless, this thing was hard to get out, so it broke, and I was drilling it. I ended up threading this bolt through it, and then prying up on the bolt, and it actually broke right at the last second here. And I think I got pretty lucky. I think I got it all out. I gotta verify that it's all out in there, but I had it spinning with the drill, and I figured if I could spin it enough, I could heat it up, possibly get it loose enough. And so I just kept spinning it and threaded this in there, and then just pried it out. Miraculously got it out. Kind of a pain, but it is out. So I'm gonna try to clean that hole. I'm gonna look in there with a flashlight, make sure the reluctor looks good, and spin it over 1 revolution. And I think we should be fine. We're gonna grind that surface there. I'll show you guys. We use a little cookie wheel. Grind that surface all flat, put some grease on it, and then put our new sensor in, our new used sensor that we ended up finding. It was in my dad's truck. He was hiding it from me, and he didn't even know it was there. Anyway, so we'll get that put in, and hopefully road test this thing, and hopefully everything's okay. So basically, what I do here is I'll grind this. I got some 40 grit sandpaper, 60 or 80 will work too, you know, just some coarse sandpaper, and you roll it up, and you jam it in here, and you just kind of spin it, and you go up and down, and you work your way around, and just try to, you know, open up that hole a little bit. We're not trying to like stick a drill in there and drill it out or anything crazy. You're gonna run into problems trying to do something like that. We just want to get the rust and corrosion and all the built up grime off of the walls here. And I'm probably being a bit excessive with all this, but you know what? If it helps the new sensor go in nicely, that's kind of what we're going for. We don't want to have any problems. So these sensors fit tight in there with the little gasket, especially if I'm putting a used sensor in there. This sensor, obviously, can't save. A lot of times what happens is this surface here, the rust will build up on this surface, and it actually pushes the sensor where the mounting location of the sensor, it'll push the whole sensor out to where it just doesn't read. And that's possibly what was wrong with this one, but it also builds up the rust and corrosion inside of here, and you end up not being able to get the sensor out without breaking it. So, you know, I knew I was going to just need a sensor. Whether it was due to the rust and corrosion on the hub, or whether it was due to the sensor being bad, doesn't really matter. I need this sensor anyway, so we got one coming. As soon as my pops gets home with the sensor here, we'll put it on, but I'm going to show you guys how I grind this whole thing flat, and just try to take all the rust off of here. So you guys should be able to see the reluctor in there. I'm trying to shine my phone light. See, all the teeth are intact. It doesn't take much, you know, like, I don't think you're ever going to see a damaged reluctor on this style. I think I talked about that already, but this looks pretty good. Our surface is all ground. It helps to have a cutoff wheel. I cut this all the way around, tried to make it as small as possible, and usually these are bigger too, so if you can shave one of these down, that's kind of the best way to get in there and just zip it off real quick, unless you just want to do it by hand. But you got to get that surface down. Don't grind too much to where the sensor is going to contact the hub. Obviously, you can't really change the dimension. You just want to clean off the rust. once you see the bare metal there, you're pretty good. If there's a little pitting, you know, you can take a little bit of the pitting out, but just don't go too hard. I definitely cleaned it off pretty good, maybe too much, but it'll be fine. Just don't grind the whole hub off, is what I'm saying. Looks like I need a little bit of grease in some of my ball joints here. I don't know, the lower looks like it needs it too, so I may grease the joints at least on this side. I neglect this thing. I don't grease anything. I'll let it fail. I'll change it. These parts are all original on this truck, and you know, it's on borrowed time. 200,000 miles. It's only a matter of time before these fail. I want to do the upper control arms, I think, just because I want to put new cams in there because everything's all frozen. So I think the bushings are shot too. Why am I going to put new bolts in there in these old bushings? Alright guys, so pretty much gonna call it quits here on this video and wrap it up. I ended up getting it back together. I tried to fit those 17-inch wheels on there. They don't fit, guys. That's really a bummer. Thought they were gonna fit, but the ball joint nut is just too big on the bottom because I got the drop knuckles, so it relocates where the hub's mounted, so the lower ball joint sticks out too far and it hits the wheel. So kind of a bummer. Can't run them. I tried to cut the stud off, still didn't help, so I'd have to cut the nut off, which then the lower ball joint wouldn't be held on, so kind of a bummer. I cut this side, didn't work out. It is what it is. I'll get over it, but I really wanted to run those wheels and tires on here. I had these nice tires I got from work. I'll show you guys these tires. So nice. Look at these Nittos, grapplers, all-terrains. The tread life is just ridiculous. Like, it's like a new tire, and I can't run them, so I'm really pissed. What a bummer. I don't even know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna cry. But maybe I'm still gonna throw them on the wheels I have, and maybe we'll put them on my dad's truck or something. He needs some tires soon too, so we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll take the black 20s off his hands, see if I can find some tires for 20-inch wheels and rock them on here. I don't know. I'm trying to give the 22s a break. I want to see if I can get a lighter wheel going. But anyway, I went and picked up some furniture. This is my grandmother's furniture, my dad's mother. So no longer with us, but her furniture was at my uncle's house, so they're getting rid of it. So might as well take it for our new house once we find it. So gonna go stash it away in my parents' basement. Hopefully they don't kill me. Fingers crossed. I've stored enough garbage here over the years, that's for sure. But anyway, I'm gonna pack it up, toss this stuff in the basement, and edit this video for you guys. So this will be the second vlog here. Hopefully you guys are liking this video. I know we did some weird stuff. We did some truck stuff. I'm gonna clean up the Honda too tonight, hopefully, and get it ready for the show tomorrow. So another show, Import Face Off, we're doing tomorrow. I'm burning a lot of oil. Look at all that. Oh my goodness. I think I gotta check my oil. This thing's smoky. But yeah, peace guys. Don't forget to subscribe, you know, because it does help keep the channel growing, and like the videos too, you know. Don't forget to check out the merch. I want to try to make some new shirts and maybe look a little bit more like the car does currently, and some other stuff like that. If you guys express some interest, I'll definitely do that. And I'd like to try to do some more cool stuff coming up. I'm trying to get my motivation up, guys. We're getting there. Making videos. I feel good. I think we're going to keep this going. So it feels good this time. I hope it sticks. Anyway, peace, guys.